Hello and welcome to Miniature Adventures. I'm Big Lee, and this week I want to talk about the Mark II eyeball and why I hate getting old. So the original Mark I eyeball is an amazing thing. As the poets would say, it's a window on our souls, but more importantly, it enables us to enjoy the beauty, wonder and creativity of the world and this hobby, this mad crazy hobby of ours. And we need our Mark I eyeball if we're going to do any painting, amongst other things. And unfortunately, like many of you out there, my eyesight has never been 100%. I would never class it as 20/20, perhaps for a very brief period of time. But I'm stepping ahead of myself a little bit. Basically, age comes to us all, but do we really have to put up with it? Now, I've worn glasses most of my adult life. From my late teens, I needed distance glasses, reading things like signs in the distance, bus numbers, things like that. I could never see properly. It was always a little bit fuzzy. And of course, when I learned to drive, I needed to get glasses specifically for driving because I had a problem with distance. And that remained the same for many years. I'd wear glasses for when I needed to drive and things like that. And then as I got a little bit older and my eyesight deteriorated, I went through probably a decade period where I didn't need to wear glasses at all. The worsening eyesight corrected the original problem, and for a while my eyesight was fine. But I knew it wasn't going to last, and eventually I realised that that close-up items were starting to get a little bit fuzzy, and frankly my arm is only so long. I'm sure everyone knows exactly where I'm coming from here. Eventually I needed some form of reading glasses. Now I've bought professional reading glasses from the opticians. They can make them in different strengths so that you can, depending on your reading distance. So I have, for a while I would have a pair specifically for working on a computer, that sort of 18 inches, 2 foot distance that you'd expect the screen to be at. I did once briefly mistakenly say to them that I also needed close-up ones because I painted toy soldiers, and of course they, in their attempt to make the customer feel valued and that they understand, they immediately talking to a guy, this gentleman needs them for his painting toy soldiers. Oh, thank you, in the middle of the shop, But the reality is I was paying quite a lot of money for these special glasses for close-up, and indeed the last pair that I bought that I would say like that, simple pair here, they're good for about a foot to 18 inches, so perhaps normal painting if you're doing a large 25mm figure or something like that. And I can wear these while I'm working on a computer, but they're beyond about 2 foot. They're just no good. And I do still use these when I'm painting here, but I have long since moved on to some stronger glasses for close-up work. And actually I found, this is my personal choice here, I'm not necessarily recommending it, I'm not an optician here, but I have actually found that cheap reading glasses do the job, and these are quite strong ones. These are, he says, I need a pair of glasses to read the number on the inside of the arms. These are a 3.5, so they are very strong. Basically with these buggers on, that's about in focus, that's out of focus. So it's really close-up work. So when I'm working on 6mm figures, I get right close and I can see the detail, and that's basically the main benefit. I also have some intermediate ones as well for slightly further away. So when I'm painting 6mm, everyone goes on about, how do you see these things? I see them quite well. I'll put my strong glasses on, I get up close and personal to the models, and I can see everything crystal clear. Now, of course, there are other ways of correcting that poor eyesight. When I'm inspecting an unpainted model for the first time, you're going to laugh, but I use a real cheap pair of I suppose they call them jeweller's lenses. I look completely stupid in them, but thankfully I'm the only one who sees it, although my daughter did walk past once and see me looking through this, and she just gave one of those deep sighs that said, only Dad. But this is great because I can get right up and close and have a look at all the intricate details on the model and decide my painting method, I don't paint all the detail, but what I do want to know is where that detail is. So I'll inspect the models deep and closely with one of these, get really up close and personal, so I can see how the model's constructed and where the various parts are, and then I can decide which bits I'm going to accentuate with paint and which I'm going to leave to the ink, because my painting method is to base coat the models and then ink them. I am going to at some point do a video on how I paint my 6mm stuff, but that's going to take quite a while to put together, so that is coming, but not just yet. But anyway, I digress. There are of course other things that you can use. Now my mate Ray has got an excellent pair of I don't suppose you call them jeweler's glasses, but they're like an extra supplementary pair of glasses that he puts over the top of his regular reading glasses so that he can see up and close. But it does exactly the same as my pound store reading glasses there do. And of course you could buy proper jeweler's glasses. Really depends on how much detail you want to do. For my painting method, I just need to be able to make sure I'm placing the paint in the right spot, but I don't necessarily need to pick out every tiny detail. And you know, sadly, that's gonna be the way forward for me. You know, it has been for many years. I mean, I've used reading glasses of various strengths for probably the last 20 years. Bit stronger. I mean, my eyesight isn't deteriorating enormously, but it has noticeably downgraded in the last 15 years or so. You know, nothing to alarm the opticians when I go for my appointments. Just age-related eye failure, I'm afraid. You know, I hate getting old because it's not just the eyes; it's every other bit of the body aches when you're starting to get to my age, and the eyes are just the obvious side of it. And of course, from a painter and wargamer's perspective, not being able to see your models, you know, if that day ever comes, I will be very upset when I can't pick up a brush. I'll probably have to go to 54mm figures or something like that in a great big paintbrush. But for the time being, I'm using these relatively cheap. I mean, these are £1, so really cheap. But they do the job, and the point is, if they break or they get paint on or scratch them or get glue on them, on more than one occasions I've accidentally got super glue on the bloody things. You know, I'm fine why get another pair because they're cheap. But they do the job, and you know, and I will use these on a regular basis. They only ever get used up here. But as usual, I want to throw this out to you. You know, do you have, I presume many of you are going to have the same sort of problem, struggling with your eyesight? What are your methods for getting around it? Do you, like me, use cheap pound store glasses, or do you have a slightly more technical approach to how you see your models, or have you just simply upgraded the size of the figures that you paint? As always, I'd love to hear your own experience and how you've tackled deteriorating eyesight in a hobby that very much has a visual element to it. So as always, please leave your experience and your comments in the comments section below. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and of course if you did, please like, subscribe and share, and if you want to keep up to date with weekly videos, please tap the bell notification icon. So until next week, stay safe, keep gaming, and of course keep rolling high.